What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Redriveraviation. Hope you're on a fantastic day today, and today we have massive unboxing number 58 for you all. I hope all of you are excited for today's video, as today we have some very unique hauls here from Black Friday 2024. Some of these models I literally got for $6, so I'm not complaining whatsoever. They are oddly particular and oddly different, but I think they'll be really cool additions to the collection, and today I'm going to show you 6 really cool ones. Once again, really great deals on all of these, some of them for different reasons than others, and you'll be able to see that in today's video. So it's certainly a very diverse lineup of aircraft, and once again, I hope all of you are excited for it. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get this box opened up here and not waste any further time on getting into all the details of what this unboxing will encompass. So once again, Black Friday 2024, what an awesome time it was able to get several really cool aircraft, and there's no doubt that these are going to be some really cool additions to the collection. So let's just see if we can start finding them in here one by one. The first one was $7. This is a KLM Convair 440. I got to go to the KLM museum near Amsterdam this past summer and thought this one would be really cool for $7. So very excited about that. I thought that was a really good deal. And let's see what else we can find in here. The next one is a Continental 757. I thought it was 1-400. I thought for sure it's what it was labeled, but I guess it's 1-500. So I don't have very many 1-500. So it was like $12. So definitely worth adding it. Once again, I thought for sure it was 1-400, but nevertheless, we'll have to, let me take a look at the invoice just for the heck of it. And yeah, it does say 1-500 on it, but you know, not a huge deal whatsoever. So definitely interesting for sure, but there we go. Okay, the next aircraft is a Douglas DC-8. This is 1-400, and I'm forgetting the airline name. Let me see if I can find it here. USA Airlines. I just thought the livery looked kind of cool, and I think this one was also $7. So yeah, another cool DC-8 for the collection. I thought the value there was pretty good, so that's why we have that one here today. So looking very sharp. The next aircraft is a United 767 Saul Bass. This was $15. I've been seeing this on their website just floating around. They've had it for a long time, and finally was able to get an opportunity to get it. So that one was great. Another one that was like $15 or so, this Northwest DC-832. Not sure what livery that one's called, but mainly older aircraft here, of course. But there should be one more somewhere in here that is a little bit newer, and that is the 787-10 for Saudia Airlines, and this has the flaps down. I think JC Wings made this? Yes. So what an assortment of aircraft here. Got this all for like $85, so really good assortment of aircraft. So yeah, this is going to be really awesome. Take a look at all of these, and again, I hope all of you are excited for it. So let's just go ahead and lower the tripod and go ahead and get into it one by one here. So why don't we go from smallest to largest first? Might as well, just for the heck of it. So the first aircraft today is going to be this KLM Convair 440. So like I said, for $7, I thought this was really good value since I was able to check out that museum near the great city of Amsterdam earlier this year. So here's the box. Really nice detail on it. Overall, it looks really sharp, so great to see that. KLM Royal Dutch there on top. There's the aircraft inside. They had a couple of different aircraft. I don't think they exactly had this one, but pretty similar. KLM right there, 1-400. There's the sticker on it. It's Convair 340. So yeah, really neat aircraft for sure. Back of the box, really simple. So this is actually a JC Wings aircraft, which is kind of surprising, and definitely an older one because obviously their box style has changed since then. I think they've still used their Convair molds from time to time, but as of for the 340, that was a tough box. Not very often. So with that being said, let's not waste any further time and go ahead and take a look. And as you all can tell, it's definitely a very pleasant looking aircraft. So let's go ahead and take a look. And here we go, everybody, the KLM Convair 340. A very unique aircraft right here. $7 really goes a long way, so very excited to have this aircraft. Overall, it's looking really sharp. So let's not waste any further time and go ahead and take a look. Alrighty, everybody, so let's go ahead and take a look at this aircraft. So here you can see the cockpit windows. Nose cone's very cool. I do have a couple of Convairs. I don't have a 340, so this is the first one here. Got the nose landing gear up here in the front. Nice detail. The wheels look really nice too, so definitely good job by JC Wings for knocking that out. Here's the L1 door. It also looks quite nice, and then you got a lighter blue color and then a navy color, followed by a metallic underbelly. So that looks really sharp and definitely really good in reference to the design right there. There's the KLM Royal Dutch Airlines titles there on the top. Obviously, this is one of their very first liveries. I don't think it was their first, but definitely up there for sure. You can see the propellers right here in good condition. They do spin. There's 3 blades on them. Here's a better angle of that so you can see kind of what we're talking about. You also got the engine cowling and its applicable pieces right there, so that's definitely looking strong. And yeah, the livery definitely complements the billboard titles quite nicely, and there's quite a bit going on here, so definitely a very nice livery for the time. Here's the wing that looks quite nice. And the registration of this aircraft is definitely a unique one. It's Papa Hotel Charlie Golf Golf. So you can see that they're on the wing, and we'll see here in the back in a moment too. There's the main landing gear. It looks very nice. You would definitely mistake it for an Aero Classic if you didn't know it was if you didn't know it was JC wings. So definitely a very interesting mold. You got the main landing gear doors there as well. Got the rest of the passenger windows. I'm sure this held about 25 or so. Obviously, you got the Netherlands flag back there. You get the L2 door, and I guess the registration maybe only is on the wing, or it's that really small print there behind that door. So definitely quite interesting right there. With the KLM tail right there, looking really strong. I believe I have a bag tag that's very similar to this livery, if not the same one. So quite cool to see that there with that KLM logo. Obviously, they've always had kind of that same blueprint, but the style has definitely changed in the actual colors, design, so on and so forth. But I think this definitely represented them well for the time. You also have two doors on this side. You got the one up there by the cockpit windows looking pretty strong, and you got the one in the back here, also pretty nice. I do think that's the registration. It's just really tough to see right there, that is. And the window placement is slightly different over there. And let's see if we can track down where exactly the baggage door is. I didn't quite see it. There's the top of the aircraft looking really strong, and it appears the baggage door is right there. Okay, so it's right there next to that propeller. Definitely a unique place for it, but definitely pretty interesting to see. Yeah, old JC Wings logo. This had to come out, you know, like probably 15 or 20 years ago at this point. It definitely looks older at least. And then of course you got the stand hole as well. So all the features look really nice in this aircraft, and this is definitely a really cool one to add to the collection here. So certainly very glad to have it, and that definitely will be an awesome addition to the collection. There is no doubt about it. So with that aircraft knocked out, let's go ahead and get this 1-500 knocked out. And I guess I could have just simply misread it, which was not my intention, but you know, it happens to the best of us. So this is a Continental Airlines 757-200. So yeah, it was like $12, like I said. Really cool to acquire the aircraft. And yeah, so Starjets made a variety of 1-500s, I believe. Not exactly sure how long they lasted for, but they obviously definitely made their presence known. So that's what we have with this aircraft in the box. Pretty standard here. Let me see if I get this tripod even out a little more. You got Continental right there, Boeing 757-200 die-cast precision model. CGI, I really like the cloud backdrop. I think that's really cool. Made for collectors by collectors. See, it has all the GeminiJets information on it. I think it was a partnership with them. It just apparently is 1-500, which I thought for sure was 1-400. But as you can tell, all of it has the same print pretty much of the GeminiJets branding, pretty much. Even the specifications there, and the CGI looks the same. And it's even got the Tallahassee, Florida trademark here from 2000. So was Starjets maybe GeminiJets run on 1-500 aircraft? If anybody knows, let me know in the comments. But that would be my logical assumption at this point, and that definitely makes the history of having this aircraft a little bit more unique to know that GeminiJets was affiliated in some capacity making 1-500 planes at the beginning of their time. And obviously they got moved away from it pretty quickly, but they did do it, and so much so that they even included a stand, which is quite cool. So here's the stand. I'm gonna have to break the plastic, it appears, to get it out, but you know, that was gonna have to happen at some point. If I really want another one, I'll just go order it from Jet Collector, since they probably have several still in stock, because this is kind of a goofy plane. You know, not the promotion was definitely not quite as flag streamed as some of the other releases, so perhaps they ended up with more of them than what they were anticipating. But yeah, the stand's plastic, so pretty interesting there. And then here it is. So typical 1-500 sizing. It's similar to, you know, even that Convair 340 a little bit. But yeah, there it is. The Continental 1-500 757 by Starjets, aka GeminiJets. And you can definitely see the similarities between the GeminiJets mold and this one, but certainly fascinating to look at there. So let's go ahead and dive into it and see what it's all about. And here we go, everybody, the Starjets 1-400 Continental Airlines 757-200. A really nice looking aircraft. Definitely cool that they you know, explored this realm for a while. Obviously it didn't quite work out in the grand scheme of it, but you know, life happens, and 1-400 fortunately is just right for most collectors. So I think it ended up working out for all of us, and you know, just kind of how it felt, you know, fell in place. So with all that being said, we won't waste any further time and go ahead and take a look. So here's the cockpit windows. They look really nice on this aircraft, and we have some sort of, you know, piece right there on the front nose as well. Not exactly sure what it is, but it's kind of cool. So the Continental livery, pretty basic. You of course got the gray underbelly along with that gold cheat line, so that's quite nice. There's the L1 door. That also looks pretty strong here. I can't really see a Star Alliance logo. There might be one somewhere, but anyway, you got the Continental Airlines billboard titles there looking pretty strong, and you got all the passenger windows. Some sort of first class would be found on this particular frame. You got all the rest of those passenger windows. You got the L2 door, and then of course you got another sticker in the back there, so that definitely looks quite nice. Here's the middle of the aircraft here. As you can see, we got the 2 emergency exits, so those are definitely strong as well. And of course the RB211s. Kind of weird to see it all on a 1:500 frame, but you know, you can put all the similarities together. But for the actual mold, this is very good for 1:500, very good for the time, very detailed. Overall, just really great for a 2000 model. But you got the main landing gear there as well, pretty cool. It also wobbles on stand quite a bit, which is to be expected. Not, you know, frustrated about that, just a reality of the situation. You got the wing detail with the flap slats and speed brakes, kind of, you know, pretty tough to see it all, but they do exist, so here's kind of a look of all that. And then you got the rest of the passenger windows. I believe the Continental 757s held somewhere around the 200 number, so quite cool to think about how all that came into play. The registration of this aircraft is November 13110. And you got the United States flag back there, along with the L3 door, and then of course you got the Continental globe there for Continental. So looking quite nice right there. You can see the navy seems maybe a little dark, but not a huge issue, just observation. But the horizontal stabilized APU, all that looks pretty solid. Again, stands very unique. I don't know when GeminiJets started producing their stands flag, you know, mainstream, but I think some of their earlier models around this time frame did come with some stands in some capacity. So, regardless of the case, they were never plastic like this. So it's interesting to think about the contrast there. The right side of the aircraft, you got the baggage door and a couple of panel details, and you also got one here in the back. And let's go ahead and zoom out and take a look at the top of the aircraft, which is really nice. And then the bottom, you got that StarJets logo, you got the polished underbelly, and all of it looks pretty nice. And I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like relative to the hand if you're curious what a 1:500 Continental 757 looks like size-wise. As you can tell, it's pretty similar to maybe like a 737 300 and 1:400. You know, it's just slightly smaller, you know, definitely noticeable, but you know, from the camera maybe not quite as much. So anyway, definitely a unique aircraft. Got a little confused on that one, but still a very cool piece of history no matter what the case is, and I definitely think it's worth adding to the collection. And I think I probably got confused. I'll put it on the screen, but I believe the product listing had the GeminiJets backdrop on it, so that was probably the nail in the coffin for why I got confused and thought it was a 1:400. But again, it's a really cool piece of history, and I'm definitely not shying it, knocking it, any of those, you know, negative feelings, because it really is a cool plane to have. So if I had to pick a 1:500 to have, some sort of history like that was definitely cool. So definitely glad that worked out. Let's head back over to the 1:400 scale, where we're going to find this USA doubles DC-8. I believe it's a 21. This was $7 as well. And again, the paint scheme's kind of cool, and I'm not exactly sure what USA's, you know, main purpose was, whether it was charter or what the airline exactly did. But regardless, I thought it would be a cool piece of the collection, and that's exactly why we have it here today. So it is an Aero Classic. Here's the top right here. You got the aircraft inside right there. It's a doubles DC-8. I think it's several years old. I'm not exactly sure what year, probably sometime in the early 2000s. Here's the top of the box. They went from 1776 to 1976, so celebrating, or you know, the 200-year anniversary of the United States is what they're celebrating here. The registration's 1976 Papa, and you got O&A there on the top. And here's the right, and then you got the back of the box here, which shows specifications for the doubles DC-8, so that's pretty cool. And let's go ahead and get into the aircraft. Now, once again, not any aircraft that's particularly flashy, but I think the livery does look quite cool for $7. And you know, there were so many good Black Friday deals, but you know, I am a big quantity person, not particularly, you know, quality. It's like, if I can get a model for $7, why not do it kind of mindset. And that's why I made this jet collector order. Not every aircraft here is going to be an NG model, the most detailed, you know, the best model that I've ever purchased quality wise, but you know, quantity is definitely cool, and if you can come across it for $7, why not, is kind of my mindset. And I looked through the whole sale, and there was some good deals on, you know, better product aircraft for sure, but I kind of, you know, utilized that during the, I hate that dust spot's so frustrating. You probably see it right there between the wing and the engine, so I apologize about that. I'm trying to get these lenses fixed on. My other one just kaplunked, so I'm currently in the process of trying to figure out what's going on with that. So maybe I can take this one up there while I'm there and see if they can, you know, fix that dust spot. But anyway, yeah, this is the USA doubles DC-8. This is a 21. So yeah, I think it's a really good looking aircraft. I really like the scheme on it. And again, for $7, just why not keep adding these quantity aircraft? And that's been definitely an emphasis of the collection over the last several years, is to continue to gain aircraft that the value is there. And I think the value was definitely here on every aircraft we have in today's video. So with that being said, I don't know exactly where I'll use it. Maybe it could be a cool prop at Great Plains or whatever, but I definitely think it was worth the investment in getting the airframe. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look. So here's the cockpit windows, looking very strong. A really, really good mold here from Aero Classics. This is really nice. So you got the nose here along with panel detail, cockpit windows. You got the nose landing gear, which I really like the style of it on this particular aircraft. This is probably the best Aero Classics landing gear tires I've ever ran across. They look really nice. And let me go ahead and just take a look. Yeah, so they do roll, but they at least seem like they're better in place, like they're not going to fall off as easily. So I think that's definitely a huge plus for this particular aircraft and mold. So that's really cool to see. So of course you got 4 stars rather here on the front. You got the L1 door, and 1776, 1976. So celebrating 2 years of the United States of America. So here's the USA. The Navy on the front, I wish it had a little bit more, detail to it. It's not bad by any means, and definitely much better than the standard livery, but there's not too much going on up there besides stars. So maybe just a little bit more detail to, maybe stars all the way down. Obviously, you don't want it too complex, but maybe a little bit more than what they added here. Just an observation, but still a really cool livery. You got the USA here in the middle. Now, here's the exit door. That looks quite nice. We don't have an exit pad. This aircraft, once again, probably 15 or 20 years old, so no shock there. But the mold is really nice. You got the engines right here, some of the original variants that the DC-8 used, and you can definitely see it with how they're designed and constructed here. So still really nice regardless of the case, and definitely glad to get to see it here. Get the wing detail, what's there of it, that is. And, it's acceptable for this time frame, so not too, frustrated about that. You do have the main landing gear, just the 2 8 or 4 tire each bogies, so not too much crazy there, but pretty cool regardless. I do like the back here. I like this little bit more effort here. So you got X with all the stars on it. I do really like what they're going for on that, and I think it looks really cool. So featuring several stars there from the United States, that's really cool. I don't know if all the stars on the aircraft total add up to 50. That would be an interesting one to count up, but they're going to be getting close, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, this aircraft probably held around maybe 125, maybe 150, but definitely a good handful of people. The registration there after the L2 door is November 1976 pop-up, so look strong. US flag slanted, and you got the tail there with O&A on it, so that's pretty cool that they have all the good details on this aircraft, and you got the horizontal table as just details. Yeah, overall this mold's really nice. I believe this is my first Aero Classic DC-8. I don't think I have another one. The R1 door as well in a very interesting position. I believe it has 2 overwing exits on that side, so you can definitely see those. But overall, Aero Classics really did do a good job with the details and, all of what the functions on this aircraft have. Top of the aircraft, all of what you would expect. Not too much crazy detail there, so good job on them getting all of what you would expect there. Bottom of the aircraft, also nice. You got the stand hole as well along with the nose landing gear doors. You also have 4 baggage doors on this aircraft. You got 2 in the front there and 2 in the back. You also have a little tail piece there if you accidentally plop it too hard on the ground so it doesn't damage and scrape up the bottom of the fuselage. So overall, a very neat aircraft for the collection. I really like the livery on it, and overall I do think it'll be quite a nice asset to continue to utilize. So certainly glad to have it. And again, I don't know if it'll be a Great Plains prop or what exactly use-wise I'll find for it, but I am confident that it'll definitely fit into the collection in some capacity. So very excited about what the future of that's going to look like. That'll be quite fun. The next aircraft we're going to take a look at is the Northwest DC-8-32. So again, don't know what time frame this livery resides from. Presumably the 1960s or 70s, somewhere in there, but this one was like $15 as well, so not passing it up for that good of a value. And this aircraft, of course, is one of the 400, and all of it looks really nice. So not exactly sure, once again, I know I've continued to say that, but where it will be used, but we'll definitely find a good place for it somewhere in the collection, so that will definitely be nice. We got limited edition there on the top left. The cinematic box design, so you have those cinematic vibes to it. On the 400 scale, you got the CGI here in the middle, or sorry, the actual aircraft here in the middle. You do have an outline there with the blue sky in the back, so that's pretty cool. You got the Northwest titles here, GeminiJets DC-8-32. Older NWA logo during the time when this model was made for collectors by collectors, DC-8. Get the Boeing and McDonnell Douglas trademarks there, because obviously this was a doubles aircraft, then 2 McDonnell Douglas, and then Boeing obviously took over the trademark during that time frame. So it's November 804 Uniform Sierra, and it has all those specifications there. It's a 2001 release, so that's quite nice. Pamphlets, of course, are relevant during this time, so here it is and what it looks like. And the aircraft inside, which looks nice and simple. I think, these simple liveries from back then, there was quite a diverse, arrangement. Some of them were simple, others, had a few complex features. This one is kind of in the middle. The stripes add some cool character to it, but it'd probably lean a little bit more towards the basic category because there's not too much outside of that, and a little bit of detail there on the tail. But otherwise, it's still a really cool aircraft. So for the investment, definitely think it's worth it. So here it is, the Northwest doubles DC-8-32. So adding yet another DC-8 variant here, and overall looks very neat. You got those engine props there in the back, so it's definitely interesting. So let's go ahead and take a look. And here it is, everybody, the GeminiJets 1:400 scale Northwest Airlines doubles DC-8-32. Very nice looking aircraft here. I think GeminiJets for 2001 did yet another fantastic job on this aircraft. The details all look really good, and overall it's a very nice looking aircraft. So with all that being said, let's not waste any further time and go ahead and dive into the aircraft. So let's get it aligned here and go ahead and zoom in and take a look at the aircraft. Alrighty, so starting up here, let's make sure the clarity's good. You got the cockpit windows right here looking very strong. You got the nose cone as well. You got navy right here, and you got the red, and then of course you got that polished underbelly, so all of it looks really nice. Nose landing gear door, very proportional. Overall looking really sharp. Happy to see that. Here's the L1 door, also quite proportional, very accurate. You got, of course, the titles up here. I can't see what they quite say, but definitely cool that they were able to integrate that detail during this time. Obviously printing was pretty tough, so really good job there. And of course you got all the passenger windows. Not exactly sure what the configurations were on this aircraft. I can check the box though, just in case it has that information. There goes an empty box. Luckily it was empty. So as of for this particular aircraft, it's saying that it holds 132 in a mixed class and 180 in a high density. I'd presume Northwest had mixed class, so probably somewhere in that 132 range. But yeah, pretty cool to see that. And then all the details here in the middle. A bunch of passenger windows is what you can find here. You get the Northwest titles there, center aligned. Let me know what you think compared to center aligned compared to left aligned there for billboard titles. I just think it looks too good not having it left aligned, or closer to the door. In other words, I think the center align's neat for some airlines, but I think most airlines do well when it's aligned to the L and R1 doors. So looking sharp there. We have one emergency exit door, and it's going to be this one right here. The engines are pretty similar to the DC-8-21s, however they got that back cap piece, which is pretty cool. If anybody knows exactly the purpose of it, feel free to comment below. Presumably maybe to present some exhaust, or maybe to help out with reverse thrust. I'm not exactly sure what the purpose of the back piece is, but it's pretty cool regardless of the case, so that's definitely nice to see. Wing detail a little bit enhanced from the Aero Classic version, but not by much. You can see that obviously the front there, especially slat detail, is non-existent, but we do have some flaps and speed brakes, so it's nice to see those details integrated for the time frame, so can't complain too much with that. And we also do keep the nav lights and some different smaller details like that, so that's cool. Here's the main landing gear. They look pretty sharp, very similar to the other DC-8. So the 32, I think, was just a little bit of a shorter version, very similar. Maybe the engines were a little bit enhanced, but not too much crazy different relative to the DC-8-21 that we saw previously. And the registration of the aircraft's November 804 Uniform Sierra. Here's the L2 door, and then of course you got some sort of billboard title back there. I can't see what it is, but you got Northwest there on the tail. And you got the US flag as well. And this was during the time when GeminiJets had a one-piece horizontal stabilizer mold. So literally this whole bottom piece comes off as one. Very interesting that they had to do it that way. It's definitely a fascinating concept. But yeah, you'd see this aircraft, the 757s, for example, also had this, and some other planes during that time frame had the back piece mold. So it is interesting. Let me know if you have one in your collection. But yeah, all overall looking sharp. You got the horizontal stabilizer, the APU detail, and all of what else you would expect here for a Northwest DC-8. Top of the aircraft looks very sharp. Definitely cool to see the details there. Bottom, you got the older GeminiJets logo, stand hole, and all the other applicable features. The polish there on the bottom looks pretty cool. So overall, really good looking aircraft. I think they did a really good job on it. So definitely really glad to have it here in the collection today. And overall, looking very sharp. So next two are definitely the ones I'm most excited for. The other several were really good, but definitely when I saw it for $15, I knew that the United Bass 767 was going to be on the list. Now, I almost got this for $25, $26, $29 on several occasions, so I'm really glad that I finally got it for $15. I think this is probably the lowest that it would get. So yeah, overall really sharp. You got limited edition there on top left. It is the cinematic box design, once again 1/4 diecast model. It was interesting for the time that they made the actual aircraft much smaller on the middle here. I'm not sure if there was an exact purpose for that, but this particular one obviously much more cropped in there. United 767-300 made for collectors by collectors. This was a GeminiJets 2 release, so perhaps on the GeminiJets 2 ones they were a little bit smaller on the box. Not exactly sure, but you know, it is interesting to think about. It's 647 uniform alpha. The GeminiJets 2 concept's always been fascinating to me. I still really don't know the exact purpose of it, but it is a good question to ask at some point, maybe during a seminar or whatever. This particular release was in 2003. You have some of the specifications there. This particular aircraft started flying in 1992 for United. That's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and take a look at the actual pamphlet. And there it is with all those applicable details, so feel free to pause to read any of that. Of course, you got specifications as well. You got the 763 specifications in the parentheses, and there's the aircraft itself inside. So once again, I thought it was really good value, and it's definitely a very nice looking aircraft. So overall, really excited to get to see what the frame is all about. So let's go ahead and take a look. So here is the actual aircraft itself. I'm sure it's been in the warehouse for a long time, so glad to give all these models a new home, because I definitely love collecting. And like I was saying on the previous aircraft, it is really cool to add some, you know, quantity. You know, quality is fantastic and we love to see it, but there's no doubt that for $15, planes like this are definitely worth picking up, and that's a very nice one right there. Alrighty everybody, and here's the GeminiJets 2, I suppose, 1-400 scale United Airlines Boeing 767-300 in the Saudia livery. Overall, a very nice looking aircraft, absolutely fantastic for $15, so very glad to have it. Let's go ahead and take a look. Alrighty everybody, let's go ahead and take a look at this. So here's the cockpit windows along with the nose cone. Very good 767 mold here, no complaints whatsoever, it's really nice. Of course, you have all the Saudia liveries here, so you got, it appears to be an orange, and then a red, a maroon, and then a blue. So quite an interesting contrast that they used here on this livery, and definitely very, very unique to say the least. Here's the nose landing gear, which is actually plastic, which I was very surprised to see. Kind of like almost, you know, not quite Dragon Wings vibe, but I looked underneath it when I was getting out of the box, and I was like, wow, plastic, how about that? So there it is right there. It still looks really good though. You can't really tell from glance, so I'm definitely all for it. So not bad, and if it cut cost at that time, then by all means do it. Here's the L1 door right here, certainly looking very sharp as well, so we absolutely love to see that. You got the tulip here as well, looking sharp, and you get the United Airlines billboard titles. So yeah, really good looking aircraft up here in the front. You'll have some first class and then some economy plus seats before you dive into obviously the middle of the aircraft. And as such, of course, the landing gear don't roll. They weren't going to anyway during this time frame in 2003. And I don't think any of my other GeminiJets 2 aircraft have plastic landing gear. I'm going to have to verify that, but perhaps that was one of the reasons this aircraft didn't sell quite as well, maybe because it had the plastic gear. Maybe it was a trial run, I'm not exactly sure. You can definitely see it from this angle though. Again, it still has that GeminiJets model feel. However, obviously the landing gear a little bit different, so it's interesting. But anyway, here's those CF engines. They look really nice at the exhaust there as well, which is really good. Definitely really good detail on the wing for 2003. You got the emergency exit pad, some very subtle slat detail. You can kind of see the indentations there, so definitely cool to see that. And then flaps and speed brakes. Overall, really good job. They did a very precise effort for the time frame, and definitely cool that they were able to integrate all those assets. So certainly happy to see that. Main landing gear also really nice. Once again, they are plastic, which is very interesting for the time frame. But as you can see here, looks pretty sharp still. I mean, it's definitely noticeable once again, but it's not a huge deal breaker. So, and they are pretty sturdy, which is good news. They're not going to be prying off or tires coming off or any of that. These were definitely, this was the way to do plastic gear if you're going to do it during this time. So definitely happy to see that. Once again, you got that polished underbelly coming back here, so that's looking strong. And you also have a baggage door on the side, which is kind of surprising. Also kind of forgot to mention the panel detail up here in the front, so that's nice to see. Registration of this aircraft's number is 674 Uniform Alpha, so very nice to see that. And you get the L2 door before you have the tulip tail. Looks very nice in this aircraft. They did a good job on the colors and some of the other applicable features you would expect, so happy to see that. Horizontal stabilized APU, all of it looks really great, so definitely awesome to get to check out all the details there. The right side of the aircraft is also very nice. You got the cockpit windows, and then you got the first baggage door. It's more of a cargo loading door. It looks really nice, so good job on that. Here's a little bit of a better look at those gears. Once again, not a deal breaker, but you definitely notice it once you have the aircraft, so just want to be fully transparent in these reviews. And again, you got the registration, another smaller cargo door, so all of that looks very nice right there. Top of the aircraft looks very strong, so definitely happy to see that. Overall, very nice right there, really cool. Bottom, you got that large GeminiJets logo somehow returned, so how about that? And you have some of the other applicable features. So overall, a really good looking aircraft, and definitely really happy to get the feature here in the collection today. It's certainly a nice one right there, so that's absolutely epic. So the last aircraft that we have here today to take a look at, oh, I must have dust spots on the front of my camera. Let me go ahead and take a look at this. Yeah, I had one really big one there in the front, but you can see that one down there in the center. I'm going to try to get that worked on, so apologies about that. But luckily, this is our last model, so you won't have to tolerate it for too much longer. This is the GC Wings 1:400 scale Saudia Boeing 787-10 with the flaps down, I believe. It doesn't designate anywhere that the flaps are down, which is kind of interesting, but yeah, really good looking box. You have the purple 787-10 here in top left. Dreamliner, Saudia here with their local language, their logo, Sky Team logo. Here's the actual aircraft itself. Looks really nice. CGI Boeing trademark. You got 1:400 scale. Now again, I do believe that the flaps are down. It says flaps on that sticker. So yeah, deal was really good. It was like $28, so couldn't pass it up for that price. Very happy to have it. Back of the box does have the specifications, but interesting that they didn't have more designation for this aircraft having flaps down on that box. So that was definitely interesting. But anyway, clearing some room here, and apologies about the light. It kind of faded there on me. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the aircraft. And there goes my phone. So fantastic. Let's go ahead and see if I can retrieve that real quick just in case we need it. Okay, here it is. The Saudia 7810 flaps down. This will be a really nice one for Great Plains landing and whatnot, and it'll complement the new livery very well. And again, it was just great value, so I thought it was definitely worth it. Not every day you're going to roll up and be able to get a flaps down 787 for $28, and similar to the other aircraft I mentioned, it's always great to give these models a new home besides the warehouse. So, you know, anytime that I can find practical use and it's worth it, definitely it's worth getting it. And that aircraft is really nice. Take a look at that. Alrighty, everybody, and here's the JC Wings 1:400 scale Saudia Boeing 787-10 flaps down. JC Wings did a really good job on this aircraft, and certainly very glad to have this aircraft. So with all that being said, let's not waste any further time and go ahead and take a look. Alrighty, everybody, so let's go ahead and take a look at the aircraft right here. So here's the cockpit windows. They are tinted, so that's very nice. So there's the detail on that. Here's the nose cone. It definitely looks really nice. The JC Wings mold here is very sharp, so certainly very happy to get to see that. And Saudia's livery is very unique relative to the others. It's actually got the white on the bottom here, so that's what you can see, and then more of a bronze color here on the top, so how about that? But anyway, we got some panel detail down there, so that's very nice. And then of course you got the Sky Team logo up here, so definitely really cool to see that. Nose landing gears very sharp in this aircraft. They did a really good job on that. And then of course you got the L1 door, some sort of logo here. I'm not exactly sure what it says, but it looks very cool regardless, so certainly happy to see that. First class up here for Saudia. I think their product's really good from what I understand. Chris Slimmer recently went on a huge extravaganza with Saudia, so he would be the person to ask. But anyway, looking very sharp there. And that takes us on to the back here where we're going to have the premium economy section and a normal economy, followed by the obviously premium and economy plus and then normal economy. That's what I was looking for. There's the Saudia billboard titles, and once again they have it in their local language, so it's very nice right there. Got some panel detail here on the top, and you also got the antenna, so great to see all those details. I think they do a really good job with all the printing, and it's certainly quite crazy to contrast it compared to the other 5 models that we have here, so great to see that. We certainly have slat detail, so much slat detail that we have flaps down, so very fortunate to see that. I think it's only like my second or third one here, 1:400. The other one I could think of is my American 787. But yeah, really cool to get it here. It is that same mold, but obviously slightly different there with how it's extended and, you know, just the configuration of it, so it's very nice. Engines also look really sharp in this aircraft. They're very nice, and overall the proportions, cowling, exhaust, all of that's really great detail. So happy to see that. Here's the back of the flaps down. Really want to highlight that. I think it's really cool that you're able to do this, and it's awesome to see the model aircraft landscape continuing to innovate, as we'll talk about going into 2025. But yeah, it's super exciting to see this, and really eager to see what it'll look like in the future. And it's crazy to think if it would be far-fetched to think that if we could possibly, you know, get like more models with fan blades that spin, and then obviously maybe even flaps coming up and down on models, you know, all that's getting very advanced, and it's probably a little unrealistic in the immediate future, but I wouldn't count it out long term. There's the main landing gear. They also look really nice, so that's pretty cool, and they do tilt, so that's definitely helpful. I think the tires all look really great, and they did a good job with all that detail, so certainly nice to get to see that. And then of course that takes us on to the L3 door, where we have some good detail there. You can get a nice look there of the other side that flaps down. I'll kind of just bring it over here so you can see it a little bit differently. That's definitely very nice. And then of course you got the L4 door back there, so that's very cool. A bunch of economy seats back there. These 787-10s I think can hold up to like 350, so definitely plenty of people can get on these. No Wi-Fi box in this particular example, surprisingly, but you do have 2 antennas in the back, one bigger and one stubbier. Dreamliner titles right above that baggage door, and then of course you got the registration, which is Hotel Zulu Alpha 824, I think. I can't see it from here, but some sort of registration like that. AR24, that's what it is. So very nice there. The really cool Saudia tail looks very sharp, so certainly happy to see that. Horizontal stabilized APU detail, all of that looks really great and overall really good. And since the lighting wasn't near as good on this one as the others, I'll definitely do a model review on this in the near future, so stay on the lookout. But anyway, right side of the aircraft also looks very nice. You got 2 baggage doors right there, so certainly happy to see those, and overall they look really sharp, so definitely a really good job. Top of the aircraft looks very nice, so certainly really great to get to see that flap detail there, along with the speed brakes. Those look really nice. Bottom, amazing on the flaps down. You can certainly see how much effort was put into the portion, so that's great. And of course, you got the stand hole, air inlets, all those amazing details. A really good job. Fan blades look really nice too, so overall, just a spectacular effort. Highly recommend if you're in the 787 market, and this is a great effort by JC Wings overall. Really glad to have this one.
Alrighty everybody, so let's go ahead and take a look at these awesome models right here. Starting with this Continental Boeing 757 1/500 scale. Certainly a very unique aircraft, but really glad to have it. I think it will be a quality addition for a long time, and certainly going to be a very unique model to follow here in the collection. Then we got this USA DC-8. What a cool aircraft. Really like the livery. It's definitely a very nice one, and overall so glad to have it. So really cool aircraft to pick up right here. Definitely a really good one. You got the KLM Convair 340. Definitely some cool memories associated with this aircraft, and for $7 you really can't beat it. So very happy to have this aircraft, and overall looking really sharp. Same for the Northwest DC-8, another really cool aircraft there. Very simple livery, but definitely a very nice one to reflect on and just see what this aircraft is all about. So another nice pickup right there. The Saudia Boeing 787-10, very good value. Really glad to have it. Overall, another really nice effort by JC Wings, and a really cool aircraft to have. And for $15, the United 767 was a no-brainer. Definitely the foundation of the order, and overall super glad to have all these. And it's definitely a very nice round out here to Black Friday 2024. I really hope all of you enjoyed this unboxing. Really cool today, and really excited for the next massive unboxing, as we'll have several miscellaneous models to come with that one. But with all that being said, that'll do it for today's video. Everybody, thank you all so much for watching. I want to thank each and one of you for watching. My name is Redriveraviation. Take it easy, everybody. Stay safe. Trust process. Do you love and love you do. My name is Redriveraviation. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon, as Redriveraviation is signing off.